Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media here in Houston for Breakbulk Americas, and I have Ryan Foley here in the studio with me from DHL Global Forwarding. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the U.S. It's great that you were able to come over.
It's been, it's always good to come here. So for us, the Americas is our top performing region at the moment. So we're seeing a lot of business, we're seeing a lot of growth in the area. So it's great to get the team over here, get everybody together. We've tied it into a regional management meeting, so we've got all of our team together. So Breakbulk's been very successful for us so far, and it's only the first day. So
and we love that. No, it's going to be a great show. What I want to talk to you about is an outlook for 2024, next year. We'll be doing a special feature in the upcoming issue of Breakbulk magazine. So I'd love to get your thoughts where you see sort of the industry heading next year and beyond. So let's talk about first any particular project sectors and geographies that really stand out as areas of potential, and in particular those that maybe are new or unexpected that we haven't seen as much from in the past.
Well, I mean, some of those sectors are unexpected or new to DHL. So we're a continuously growing business. We've invested a lot in the project industry in the last few years. We've grown the size of our team. So as a result, we're seeing more opportunities in sectors that potentially we didn't have involvement with before. So for us, the outlook is very positive because even if the market was to stay stagnant, we're trying to get a better footprint into those areas. So we've not been the biggest, and we're not the biggest freight forwarder in terms of project logistics. What we want to do is continue to grow into those areas. So for us, the various sectors that we're working in, we're investing in the tech space, in semicon and battery storage and data centers, this kind of area, which for us as a company, as DHL, is great because we have relationships with a lot of those customers on a transactional level in terms of moving their product, but we've never been involved in the capital work in terms of building the facilities in the first place. So it becomes a real end-to-end service provision for us because we're helping to build the plant, but then we're also helping to move the equipment or the product that gets produced later on. So I think that space in tech is very interesting and exciting for us. A lot of that's being fed by the mining industry. Jake just talked in the opening remarks about lithium and kind of minerals and mining that for us is a really growing sector. Not, as I say, not just because the sector itself is growing, but because we haven't had so much market share. So we see big opportunity there. We continue to see the oil and gas space, LNG, as real projects that we think we can play a part in. And that we're working closely with our customers and our partners to see how we can move that forward. We see the kind of Central American, Caribbean area obviously expanding from an oil and gas perspective as well. We're still, as much as we're a sustainable company, we've got a strong 2050 zero net carbon plan. We still see a lot of projects coming online that we need to still service the environment, the needs of the world until such a point where we're moving in a different direction. So quite diverse. Renewables, I think, is the one there where we have invested the most as DHL to be able to try and position ourselves for a lot of these projects that are coming up. It's still a space that I think we don't do enough in as a company, and we really want to continue to kind of make that our mark into that area. So those sectors, those verticals really match up with the approach that we've taken. We've put sector heads in place to really focus on those, try and understand what the customer wants and what they need, and then use that as the platform for us to try and win work with them.
Interesting. Now, do your team specialize in these different types of projects?
Yes, so, well, from a sector perspective, yes. Yeah. So we have a mining lead, we have a global EPC lead, we have we're just recruiting a semiconductor tech lead. So yeah, we've got 8 different verticals in terms of sectors, and we either have a global lead or regional leads covering the world depending on the size of the opportunities and the size of the business that we have, to service those. So that's the direction that we took. So mining, for example, very different. I remember sitting in front of a customer 10 years ago saying to me, don't talk to me about oil and gas projects because they're nothing like mining projects. We went and hired a resource from Anglo-American to come in and really help us to shape our service offering to those customers, to understand, well, what does a customer in mining need, what's different for their projects to a traditional EPC or an oil and gas project, and how do we use that as the vehicle for us to be more successful. So that's worked quite well for us, and we're continuing that model. So we're looking, as I say, we're looking at expanding into some other sectors and bringing new people, fresh ideas, and from the other side of the fence as well, so from the customer side to support us in the same way that we did when we expanded our service offering in marine chartering, right? We didn't think, okay, let's just bring freight forwarders in. We went to the carrier side and we brought people from that side of the industry to give us that level of expertise, and I think that we do it on the customer side as well.
All right. Do you see emerging markets where you're finding projects that maybe you haven't been involved as much in certain regions of the world?
Yeah, I mean, I was in Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago. We did a big customer roadshow. I would say countries where either we haven't had a setup or our setup as DHL is in its infancy are the emerging markets for us. So Saudi Arabia, I think, is a really good example where there's huge infrastructure projects going on. There's a lot of there's a lot of interesting work that's happening, and we're trying to position ourselves in those kind of locations to be successful. There's other emerging markets where perhaps as DHL we're not so well positioned, so we might not have a country set up. We might be working with an agent where we say, okay, that's maybe not for us, but I think there's a lot of opportunity out there where we can use the network that we have as DHL to support us and support our customers. And if there are openings, we're prepared to walk into those. We're prepared to open up new countries. We've just opened Norway, which you would say shouldn't be a new country, but for us in industrial projects, we just didn't see the opportunity there. We saw other companies doing things maybe better than us, and we left it alone. And now we say, okay, maybe that is a market that we should enter into. So from that perspective, emerging markets for us, some of these locations are not necessarily emerging markets that you would look at for the rest of the world, but for DHL, kind of interesting. So Israel, Norway, Saudi Arabia, these are countries that for us are in the early stages and a lot of potential and a lot of opportunity.
Sounds like a lot of exciting things going on.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's number one, it's an exciting industry, right? You wouldn't be doing your job if this wasn't an exciting industry to be in. I think we need to take the smart decisions and know what we can focus on and where we should focus. So not to try and dilute what we're trying to do, but really be, as I say, kind of sharp and focused on the right areas. If we can do that, then I think we can be successful and we can play in this space. We're a big group here at DHL, so we've got a lot of customers. So whether that's in the express side, in our supply chain business, in projects, in the global forwarding, if we've got a good relationship with a customer in a different part of the group, a lot of these customers have project needs. They need to build plants, they need to build factories, then we can use the relationship that we have across the rest of the company to maybe help us out. So it can be sometimes a negative thing. I have a lot of experiences with customers where we start our discussion by saying, oh, you know, I had my passport was never delivered by DHL Express and these kind of things, and you let me down. And I say, okay, but we're a big group, and sometimes you can have a bad customer experience, but I think overall we're all focused on the same kind of things. We all want a great customer experience, and be that a project or a single delivery, then that's what we're here to try and deliver for them. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, sounds like it. All right, last question. One word to characterize 2024.
One word.
One word.
Well, for us, people. Right, so you heard Jake on the stand talking about the need to invest in youth coming into our industry, and we're doing that at the moment, and some of our competitors are doing that, and some of our customers are doing that, but this is an industry that at some point will run out of people, and we need to do everything we can to help bring people in, show that it's interesting. We run graduate programs at DHL. We're a big company. We employ 700,000 people around the world, and we're less than 0.1% of the graduates that come into the organisation choose to be in project logistics. So how can we make this industry more attractive to people to get them in and come and work for us at DHL and be the future? I joined the company as a trainee in a training program and have had a great experience.
Oh, wow. And you've been with DHL
now
all along?
Yeah, 20 years this year.
Wow.
So I've had a good experience in that, and lots of other people have had good experiences like that. I want to make sure, or we want to make sure that we're offering those kind of opportunities to people so that we can continue to feed for the future, because otherwise none of these projects will be able to happen. It's all based around people. AI is great and technology and digitalization is great, but it's at the end of the day it's going to need people to run the project. So we need to do that. We need to continue to invest in that. So for me, that's a key area for all of us, and that's not we shouldn't be. It should be cross forwarders, cross carriers, everyone all focusing on the same thing, because otherwise we won't be able to keep the industry running.
Absolutely. We will certainly do our best to help you get that message out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.